Hello, hello. Wait a second, I didn't post anything. I was doing something else. Yep, I still have to post the links and everything. 1 second. Ouch. Well, okay, I messed up. I didn't copy the proper name and everything. Well, I'm gonna save this somehow. So this 1390. 1390. One second, guys. I forgot to set few things, but nearly there. Nearly there. Okay. I have to do this. Yes, I have to do this. Okay, this. Okay, this. Is it correct? Yeah, it looks correct. Now it's still wrong on Facebook. No, it's still wrong on Twitch, but I'm gonna do it soon. Parabap, parabap, parabap. Parapam, pam, pam. Okay. Twitch now. Which is the last one that I'm missing. Okay. Yep. Okay. Done. It's done. Pam 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 param pam pam pam. Parabarabam, 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 parabarabam. Where I am? Here I am. Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome to another stream of Plane Shift. Yes. Hello, Raonix. Hello, Dr. Fish. Hello. Yeah, Raonix didn't learn that the limit is 10k. It is. And now you will try again, and I will tell you that there is a timeout of about a few minutes. You cannot do it immediately. Okay, guys. I think that's good, huh? Am I ready or no? Am I ready? I'm ready. You should hear me already, right? Yep. So yesterday we worked a bit on this dungeon save and load, and then while we were thinking about it, right, Marcellum came in and say, "Hey, why you don't just use random stream numbers?" And I was thinking, well, it could be a good idea. It would be a very nice idea, but I don't trust this system a lot. right? So I was like, maybe I should not do it. But then I tested it, right, a bit, and it seems to be very good. So I actually changed the way the dungeon object is randomizing. So instead of using the standard fmat whatever, what we do, we just create a stream, right, which is an f random stream, and we just initialize it with a random stream, no, with a random seed, sorry, with a random seed, right, and the rest of the generation, apart obviously from the randomizations that I changed, works pretty much seamlessly, right? And I did a test on 2 or 3 dungeons, and it really looked okay to me. So I think we can use it. And if we use it, it is going to simplify a lot the save and load, because we are not saving and loading the whole dungeon. We are only saving and loading the parameters, right? So basically the generation parameters and the seed ID and the seed. And then when we launch the server, we just regenerate the dungeon with the same seed, right? Yeah, which is, I think it will be great, I believe. So now the only problem is how do we ensure that, because now I just placed the random seed, right, manually, right, but obviously this should be a randomization, right? So the question is, we randomize, but we may also now there may be a problem, right? There may be a problem, which is that the generate dungeon function needs to be changed. And if that needs to be changed, considering that there is a replicated actor, it may break the client compatibility. Ay. Yeah. Well, we could cheat by adding the ID in the message. That could be probably a solution, huh? No, but the message is when? Well, let me check 1 second who is let me check 1 second who is calling this function, huh? Let me check 1 second. Who is calling this function? Generate dungeon. Because we go through the we go through this, right? Yeah. We go through this actually. We go through this. So I have to decide where we want to put the seed, because the seed, I mean, if I change it, I mean, I can also create temporarily another command. Would be a bit annoying though, because basically I have to replicate all of this, right? Which is a bit of a pity. Now, because the easiest, right, the easiest would be to add a parameter here that is the seed. That would be the easiest. Another way is to add a variable as a member, and yeah, the point is that this dungeon start actually works for multiple dungeons. Huh? This works for multiple dungeons. True. True. Create. I don't remember how the hell do I get all dungeons. Because this one is actually an array. It is an array now. Okay. No, we have so there are two objects, right? There are two objects. There is a dungeon start. And then the so dungeon start is the actual dungeon. And if I have multiple dungeons, I will have multiple of this guy, multiple dungeon start, right? Yes. And the position of the dungeon depends on how many dungeons you already have, right? And okay. So what I have to do is that I need so every dungeon needs to have its own seed, right? And the seed needs to be saved on the start dungeon object. So in reality, when I generate, right, it's not a big deal. So I could start with a seed of -1, right? And seed of -1 basically means that I need to regenerate the seed. Well, no, because we can go negative. So there should be another flag. Yeah, I need another flag to say if the seed needs to be generated. It cannot be anything. Yeah, I think I'm picturing what I have to do. So this dungeon start needs to have, I mean, he already has a seed, right? Because we added the seed, but, oops. We added a seed to dungeon start? No, we didn't. Okay. I thought we did. Oh no, we added this, the stream, not the seed. We added the stream, right? So we need the seed, right? So we need this. We need to store this, right? The only problem is that I cannot really say, oh, if the current seed is -1, right? Because -1 is a valid seed. I cannot say if the seed is 0, because 0 is a valid seed. So at least I assume it is, right? So we need another variable, because an integer cannot be null, right? So we need another variable that is keeping so something like is seed generated, right? Which by default will be why? Which by default will be false. Bro, why if you type false and then you type like semicolon that it needs to happen? Yeah, which starts as false, obviously. And then it becomes true when we generate the seed, right? And when we are loading, I think we can do it differently. I think we can require, so I think we can, I want to have something like is loaded or something, right? That is probably easier, because if I have is loaded, I say yes, this dungeon is loaded, or comes from save game, right? Comes from save game, maybe is even more clear. So it comes from save game, so the seed is preset, right? Yeah, I think we can do it this way. Is from save game, something like that. Is from save game, right? And by default is false. And basically we will do this when we are in the dungeon generation. If Wait. If whatever, right, is from save game. So if it's not from save game, we generate the seed, right? Yeah, exactly. It took me a bit, but I think now I'm there. Okay. Doesn't want to copy only this. Why? Yeah, if it's not from save game, we generate the seed. Otherwise, we assume that the seed is already set for us, right? And we just use current seed, right? So basically what I will do before calling generate dungeon, I will set the seed based on the save game, right? And yeah. Yeah. Okay. Um, No, this is good. Right. So now what we have to do when we are, I mean, if we come to this function through the standard UI, the dungeon window, nothing changes, right? Because this is coming through these parameters here and is yeah, just coming through the create, right? So it's generating a new, so the dungeon is a new dungeon and is created new, right? Yeah, it's created new here. And yeah, the only point is yes, for this dungeon name. Yeah, so this, if there is no dungeon with a given name, spawn one, right? So that is what it is. And so this one will spawn a new one, right? And our save game will be false. And so we will generate a new seed, right? We generate a new seed. Now, when we are loading, we have to do something different. But okay, so I think that now we need to save the dungeon, right? We need to save the dungeon when it's generated. So basically, when my generation is completed, which happens at the end of this function. So here, right? I think I will save before it's fully ready, but okay, so basically here we need to save. And we will save with the ID. Okay, so now we need to create a save game. Now the save game, why 2017? Is this the default? Yeah, I think it's the default. Probably when I set it, it was 2017. So this is basically, this is used to save a dungeon object. Okay. With all its properties, including random seed. With all its properties, including random seed. Okay. By the way, today was Trump inauguration. Did you see the inauguration? I have seen it. I think it was a good speech. I mean, a bit of the usual stuff that Trump says, but anyway. So what do we have to do? We have to create properties, right? We have to create properties that we want to save. So that's pretty much how you do it, right? So you create a class. I think we had an example here from a guy. No, not exactly. Anyway, you create U properties, right? You create oh well, we finish in the same page. We finished exactly in the same page, bro. Why? When I'm pressing the wrong buttons, it's so annoying. Okay. Right. Yeah. This. Yeah. So you basically create a property, right? And you want it visible anywhere. Okay. I mean, visible anywhere is good for me. You have it visible anywhere, right? And then you just have, okay, it needs to be public as well. Okay, well, I think it isn't default public. No, it probably is default private actually. And then we have to put there all our variables. And then we need to just create a constructor. Okay. Yeah, how we will populate our stuff is fine. No, it's not telling you. Yeah, this. Okay, fantastic. Okay, fantastic. Yeah, it's very easy. Yeah, it's actually very easy. It's actually very easy. It's actually very easy. So the only thing that we need a list of parameters, right? We need all the parameters. We need there are optional parameters and there are mandatory ones. So we have to decide. So basically, yeah, all of this, including dungeon name, right? So these are all our current parameters. Including dungeon name, yes. Please. I mean, we can call them exactly the same, I guess. Right? We can call them exactly the same as they are in the other. Yeah, I think so. I mean, another way would be just to save the object, but I don't know if I really like doing that because I have additional. I mean, I may have additional settings. In theory, right? You see this actor dungeon. This actor dungeon is already containing exactly the same parameters. The problem is that it's containing a million other things, right? That we don't really need to save, and so I'm more comfortable in setting it in the save game instead of just saving the object, right? I think is seems cleaner to me, right? It seems cleaner to me. So did we take wait. It's fine. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. So we have number of rooms, right? We have number of ray rooms and so on, right? All these ones are basically integers. And yeah, can I do it a bit more massively? So I repeat the same movement over and over, so it is a bit easier. All these parameters, some of these parameters are optional, so we have to decide what to do. But the ones that are optional are actually randomized if not present, right? So, and we come after the randomization, so we can no, what did I do? We come after the randomization, yeah. Okay, we substitute this with with well, depends, it's not always int, but anyway. So I think loot quality is an int. Proch dungeon name, huh? What the fuck? Isn't that the same as probably that's the real name actually. Yeah. It's called Proch dungeon name for whatever. It's a bit weird name, but we can also leave it dungeon name. It's okay. So this one is definitely an F string. And yeah, and here we have the optional ones, right? So wall skin, trap damage, wall skin. Now these ones, I think they are formally integers, but then I think they are enumerations at the end. So can we say these are all integers actually. Yeah. Yeah. Global scale is a float. And the last one is a vector. The last one is a vector. The last one is a bit tricky. The last one is actually a bit tricky. But anyway, this is the set of properties that we have. Where the first one is the random seed or current seed, whatever you want to call it. Right? So now I need to make all those into properties. Wait a second, if I copy this, maybe I can do it easier. Yup. I could probably do it even easier than this, but fine. That's easy enough. Okay. Okay. So here we have all the properties that we want to save, including the random seed, right? And we can add one constructor, maybe, oops, maybe at the beginning, right? The constructor, I don't think the constructor should do anything actually, so what should a constructor do? Well, I can initialize all this to 0 if he really helps you, but we will never use it this way, right? We will never use it not initialized, so all this will always be initialized, right? But if he really wants, I can put the initialization everywhere. It's fine. It's fine. I'm always a bit scared about this vector 0 in terms of coordinates, because then everything goes into the Draken plane. That is why we have like a lot of monsters there, because they are initialized, they initialize to 0 and then they mess up. But okay. So basically we have our class, right? We don't want to initialize anything. I think it's fine. Now, asynchronous save game to slot. It is the recommended method for saving the game. Running asynchronously prevents a sudden frame rate each, making it less noticeable to player and avoiding a possible certification issue on some platform. When the save process is completed, the delegate of F action will be called with the slot name, the user index, and a bool indicating success or failure. Okay, I think we can do it asynchronously if it's not too hard, right? If it's not too hard, I think I'm fine. So we do save game instance, my save game instance, cast my save game, create save game object. Right, but is this giving a name to the slot or not? Is not giving a name to the slot. It's not giving a name to the slot. Ah. So you mean you can only have one save game with this class? No, that doesn't look right. No, because I mean we have the option to save one object per one dungeon per file, or to save all the dungeons, right? To save all the dungeons. So if we want to save all the dungeons, then we do what? We create a struct of this, and then we have an array of struct. I think so. I think so. Because I need multiple, huh? I don't need one. I need many. Right? So it will be similar to... Yeah, because the struct needs to be... I don't know if it has to be a class or it can be... do I have a struct here? Am I going through the same ones over and over? Yes, I am. Do we have a struct? I think it's a U struct, no? A U struct. right? So like this one, right? Yes. And if you want, we can have a constructor for it, but if not, we will just set it manually, I guess. It's probably easier. Do we need a constructor? Nah. But this means that I will have, before this, I will have something like this, and I will call it F dungeon properties. And then I will have all of this inside dungeon property and not here. And then I will have so my save game will be an array of dungeon properties, right? Now it's very important that the sequence is the same sequence, otherwise everything fucks up, right? Right? And this needs to be a property as well, right? So we're gonna save this, right? We're gonna, okay. I think that is kind of good. Yeah. Holy shit, Trionix. 6,000 gone. Oh no. Well, you will win it again. Okay. Now what? Now we have our structure, our object, right, which is an array with all our values in it. And so now what we want to do, we want to save it. So basically when the dungeon is ready, we want to save the dungeon, right? And maybe we can just say, now there is one problem though, that the problem is that I want to save the dungeon along with all the other already existing dungeons, right? I mean, can the save be incremental? Can the save be incremental? I mean, meaning that if I have 10 dungeons, I don't want to save them all again, right? I want to save only the new generated one. But I don't know if this is really possible. Well, if I keep my structure somewhere, it is possible. I mean, the dungeon, the problem is that one dungeon can be deleted as well. So if I delete a dungeon, I think I need to resave all anyway, because yeah, I do. Because imagine that I have imagine that I have one dungeon, right? And then I generate another dungeon. I changed the color wrongly. Then I generate another dungeon. And then I generate another dungeon. And I save. But then I delete this one, right? So if I delete this one, there is not, I mean, I cannot really go into the array and say, oh, remove an element and save only the fact that it's been removed, right? So I have to resave the array because now we only have 2 dungeons. Now the problem is, the significant problem of this is that I have 2 dungeons that are actually in different positions compared to where they were at the beginning. No! Oh my god, that is a real problem. That is a real problem because they are like this when the server goes down, and they will be like this. Oh fuck, that's a problem, boys. They will be like this when the server restarts. So basically this will be dungeon 1, this will be dungeon 3. When the server restarts, this is dungeon 1, this is dungeon 2. Ay. Well, I can leave an empty element in the array. I can leave an empty element in the array. I mean, is it a problem if I change the location? Well, actually, if I change this location, if I change the location of this guy from here to here, if I change the location, yeah, I don't know exactly what happens when I then try to enter the portal, because when I then try to enter the portal is reasoning on the dungeon name. But that's a good question, huh? That's a good question, because I don't know if I have to save it with an empty hole or not. That is what I'm trying to understand. Trying to understand if I have to save it with an empty hole or not. That I didn't actually think about. I didn't think about it. Because we have 2 functions, right? We have go to dungeon and return from dungeon. And while return from dungeon actually is taking the coordinates, and the coordinates will be saved because we have the coordinates inside our save object, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah, teleport return coordinates. So this one is fixed, right? So it cannot be wrong. But this one is by dungeon name. Is by dungeon name. Is by dungeon name. Teleport dungeon D name. Hey, the problem is that teleport dungeon D name how does this guy understand the coordinates? How does this guy understand the X1, XY. No, but it's not that. It's not that. It's not working on points. Find the dungeon position by name, you say? Find dungeon position by name. Dungeon name start. Okay, then it may work actually. Well, in this case. I think in this case it works anyway. Because it's actually going by name. It's going by name wherever is the dungeon. I mean, whatever is the position of the dungeon, it doesn't care. It doesn't care. Yes. Yes. Oh, fuck, but there may be players into it. No! No! The loading works perfectly, right? So I can move the dungeon. I can move the dungeon from here to here. And actually, the magic portal will work properly. It will work properly, even if I move the dungeon down. Because everything is based on name. The only problem is that the players, right? The players that are like here. When the server restarts, they will be in empty space. They will be in empty space. Oh, fuck. 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 That's annoying. That's annoying. No, the theory was working perfectly. The theory was working perfectly. No. Okay, so... Okay. Well, I think we have to fix that as well. Let me play one slot as well. Let me play one slot with 65. Slots 65. Easy. Wow, 3K. Holy, 3K is the one that pays the most, I think. Very lucky. Very lucky. The slots are a bit tough anyway, so should be careful in playing the slots. Should be careful. Does it need to be... Wait. Does it need to be that perfect anyway? Could there not be an RP explanation like you wake up from a sudden lapse and the world around you stops trembling? Some things look familiar, but is everything really the same? You could keep some state, but set the player back to a safe location. I mean, the problem is that this may be worse, right, than what I've shown you. This may be worse because there may be a third dungeon. There may be a third dungeon after the deletion of the second, right? And the third dungeon is now sitting here where the second dungeon was. So if you are a player in these coordinates, the server restarts and you find yourself completely in another dungeon, right? So that's not very good, I would say. That's not very good. put the player back to a safe location. I mean, imagine that the dungeon is like 100 rooms, right? It's 100 rooms. You went through 50 traps, 20 monsters, 30 locks, and you are finally at the next to last room, or anyway, you are like 3/4 inside the dungeon, right? And it costed you 1 hour of gameplay, plus plenty of items, potions, spells, and whatever. The server goes down, right? And I say, sorry, you have to redo it. Right? That's not very nice. That's not very nice. I mean, but the problem is not a big problem, right? The problem is just that we have to recreate the same. I mean, we have to recreate the dungeon in the same position, right? So we also have to save the. We also have to save the slot. Let's call it, right? We also have to save the slot. We also have to save the slot. Now the slot is not really but wait a second. No, we save the position. We don't save any shitty slot. We save the position. We save the position of the dungeon. We save the position, obviously. Obviously, we save the position. We don't have to do anything else. We save the position. Yes, absolutely. Well, why I'm thinking slots? Why I'm thinking slots? Why I'm thinking slots? So every dungeon has a start object, right? And the start object is positioned pretty much at the beginning of the dungeon. So like this one will have, you know, it's a start object here, right? So I just need to save the position of the start, and that's it. And the rotation, no, the rotation doesn't count. They are all oriented in the same way. So if I save that position and then I reload in the proper position with the proper name, we are fine. Right? Now, does this dungeon save the position? No, it doesn't, but the start object actually has the position, right? Because the start object which is this dungeon start, which at the end is an actor, you know, spawned into the world, has his own coordinates, right? Yeah. So I need a currency, the dungeon name, and I need the location. And I need the location. We can call it dungeon location, I don't know, just to make it clearer that it's not a location of something else, but and this one will be an F vector, right? And this one will be 0 at the beginning. Okay. Now 0 is very risky because we risk to create a wall dungeon inside the Draken plane. My suggestion is, if you make a game with Unreal Engine, don't put your level in 000. Don't do it. Don't do it. I did it. It's a very stupid idea. Because we have a level that is in 000. And so whenever an object does not have a proper coordinate, it spawns into that level. Instead of spawning into, you know, empty space. I can move it, but moving it is kind of annoying. Because I have to, but anyway. That's another problem for another day. Okay, so now we have also the location, right? Right? Exactly. So like this will be perfect. If we save the position, is perfect. Save the position, generated, and it's fantastic. Okay, so this will be our save game, right? So how do we? So we said that we want to save. We want to save every object. So whenever my dungeon gets generated, I resave the file with all the dungeons. Right? So we have to save all the dungeons, including this one, right? And we have to be sure that we don't do it if we are loading in. Because this function will be called also when we are loading, right? So we don't want to load and resave because that will be a mess. That will be a mess. You know what? I think we can move this function in Spawn Manager. Yeah, let's do that. And Spawn Manager will have the sense. Spawn Manager will have the sense if we are loading or not, right? Now, is the dungeon added already to my? Is the dungeon added already to the array before the generate or not? Yes, it is. Okay, good. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. So here we will have a function that is basically save all dungeons, right? I don't know if I want to save the dungeon after it's generated inside the dungeon generation or outside of it. I think outside of it is better. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I should not do it where I wanted to do. I should do it somewhere else in the yeah, we're gonna do that. So yeah, it should not be here, obviously. I think it was a very stupid idea to do it here. It should not be here, because otherwise, yes, we have that problem, right? So we assume that the dungeon gets generated here, right? So blah 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 blah. And only if it's a success, right, we save all dungeons. Yeah. Yeah. Now when we delete, obviously we have to do the same. Yeah, so we do the save, and we do the save only when we add or only when we remove, right, a dungeon. Yes. 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 Okay, now we have to do the save. So to do the save, this guy is suggesting, I mean this guy meaning the official guide, is suggesting to do it asynchronously. I mean, I'm kind of fine of doing it asynchronously as long as the server is not crashing between the generation and the save, right? Because if he's I mean, between, I mean, the generation and and the save, exactly. Because if I save, I mean, if I save asynchronously and my server crashes meanwhile, I will lose the new dungeon. But okay, but the dungeon is not used by anyone because it just crashed, right? So in theory it's not a problem. Yeah, it's not a problem. It's not a problem. Because anyway the dungeon, yes, has been generated, but no player can be in it because it just created, right? So I think it's absolutely fine. We can save it asynchronously. So to save it asynchronously, we have this dungeon save game, right? We have this dungeon save game. Dungeon save game. Don't like it. So we have this dungeon save game. Set up the optional delegate. What do you mean optional delegate? Save delegate. Save delegate, save delegate. Ah, because we can bind to a function when the save is completed. Okay, we can do that. I mean, it's not bad. I think we can. It needs to be a U object. No, what do you mean a U object? No, spawn manager is not a U object. No. Why the delegate must be a U object? That's so annoying. I don't want the, no, I don't know. Okay, so we will not have the optional delegate for now. I don't want to spend time creating a delegate just to say saved, right? Because the delegate will do nothing else than just saying yes has been saved, right? So we can avoid it. Okay, so now here we need to populate the data, right? We need to populate the data. So we need to get all dungeons. This will return all the dungeons that are actually generated in the game. Right? I don't know exactly why I'm doing this, because I'm in the same class, right? So isn't this already... What? Isn't this already the reading a variable or something? Yeah, exactly. It's reading this. Let's just read this. We are in the same class. So why we don't just do this in GG? We are in the same class, right? So we can just what? No, can I just iterate? Can I just iterate without the shitty keys and shit? Can I just iterate? I just want to iterate on my... I just want to iterate on my dungeon, right? How was the oh shit, I don't remember. Was T-Pair? Was T-Pair, eh? Was T-Pair of key and was T-Pair or what? T-weak object pointer. No. How was this shit? Oh my god, I don't remember. How was the 4 between a T-pair, guys? It was T-tuple or no, it's not T-tuple. Was not T-tuple. Why I always remember? Why I always forget this? Why I always forget this? I think I forgot it already a million times. I forgot it already a million times. I think we did it a million times. Well, not a million. We did it a few times. So how to have the 4 with the it cannot be that these are all the 4 that we have in the world project, right? What are you saying? These are all the 4 that we have in the world project? Seriously? Huh? Come on, D4 with the 2 plus 4. Real Engine 4 T-pair, what is it? Yeah, exactly. You have to be const with the... yes, completely different. Okay, well, yeah, okay. This. But the problem is that if it's const, then we have a problem because... I think we had a problem. Yeah, it needs to be like this. It needs to be like this. So like this you can iterate. Yeah. Gamble -5 is a good try. Oh wow, you wanted the slots with 6,000 and you have 13,000 now. Well, not bad, not bad. And then you bet 7,000, now you have 32,000. Oh my god, riding the waves. Riding the waves. Okay, so pair dot value is our dungeon, right? Is our dungeon start. Now, can I do I think I have to do get, but if it's not valid, I mean the problem is that if it's not valid, I think it's unlikely that it's not valid, right? Because yeah, it's unlikely. But anyway, so now we have my dungeon, right? So what we have to do, we have to copy pretty much this thing again. Where was that? Here. So basically we have to take this again, including the name. Right. So we basically have to set on, I mean, we have to read this value and put it inside our save object. So we will have to create a new struct, right? A new fdungeon property struct, right? It is one dungeon. In this one dungeon, then we will have to say, let me see if I can do it automatically somehow, because I will have to say wherever there is actor dungeon, it becomes what? It becomes my dungeon, right? Well, yes and no. So we have to take this and we have to set it into the same, but in our one dungeon. So we need to say one dungeon this equal to that, right? So I have to do one dungeon that. I'm trying to automatize it, but there is no easy way. There is no easy way to automatize it. I mean, if I had two hands, it would have been so much easier. But with one hand that I have to switch between mouse and keyboard is super annoying. So, yep, we're gonna just do it this way. We're gonna do it this way. We're gonna endure, and that's fine. Okay, so now basically I have to take this. Oh, I can do it this way, but I will have to, basically I have to copy it, right? Yeah, there is no way to do it automatically. But pretty much it's something like this, right? So one dungeon, number of rooms equal to my dungeon, number of rooms. So that is what we have to do. And we have to do it for all the properties. And then we will have to take the actor location and the seed, which are additional properties that at the moment are not listed here. Right. So I'm doing it here, but in reality it's not really helping me. Right, the fact that I have but I think this thing will work, guys. I'm confident that this is the right way. That is the right way. It is. Pretty confident it's the right way. So it's a bit of a pain to do, but will allow us to load and save. Well, to actually save and load and regenerate dungeons, and also how many dungeons as we want, right? And the save game is very small because it's not saving the whole dungeon, it's just saving the seed to regenerate the dungeon. So that is actually very nice. Okay, now we have to delete this. If it's longer to it's longer to catch the right length, or just delete everything and type again. The thingy. Hello, Ola. Welcome, welcome. We are working on the dungeon save and load. I think we have a way. And I think it should be the right way, hopefully. And yeah, just have to do that. I think it's quicker if I just delete everything and then type semicolon, but anyway. Okay, so this will be right. Oh fuck, it was dot and not. Okay, well that we can change easy. So one dungeon. Okay. Now, that is not all though, because we are missing... We are missing the name. And the name is this. Then we are missing the seed. And the seed is and the seed is current seed, but is not visible because I think is a property that is private. Yeah. So we'll just do this. We'll just create a get current seed and GG. Yeah. Get current seed on my dungeon. Fine. Okay. So we have the name, the seed, and then the third thing is the location, right? And the location should be get actor location, right? Get actor location. With the seed thing, yes, we did it with the seed. I tested it and it's a good idea. The seed is a good idea. Because we don't have to save the whole dungeon, we just save the seed, and the seed is regenerating the dungeon with the same parameters. So I changed the dungeon generation to use the seed, and I tested few dungeons and it works. Ow. So actually, yeah, the seed is a good idea. Seed is a good idea. Very good idea. Okay, so we basically do this for every thing. And then we have a TRA of this, which is like dungeon props. Well, actually it's dungeons. All the dungeons. Right? And in the for loop we add our one dungeon, right? Then when we are here, we set it equal to this. Okay, so basically our save game we'll have all the properties of all the dungeons, including name, seed, and location, right? And now what do we have to do? And now we have to do the slot name string. What is that? There is the name of the save. Yeah, it's the name of the save. The name of the save. The name of the save for us is what? Oh my god. Okay, GG. Do whatever you want. The name of the save is generated dungeons. Generated dungeons. Do I have to call it .save or not? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so we'll add the dot save. Now, what is this user index? User index. The platform user index identify the user doing the saving. Yeah, for us is the server, so we can say 1. I don't know. And the save delegate. No, we don't want to have a save delegate. So the save delegate will be null. I know there is already yeah, an empty. No, so I can leave it empty. Because there is a default parameter there. Okay, so this in theory should save it, right? This should save it. Do you think it will work? I don't know. So basically what this should do, we call this function, right? We call this function when we add a dungeon and when we remove a dungeon. Yeah. So are we saving the seed? Yes, we are saving the seed because the seed is saved at the beginning. Yes. Yeah. I think it's okay. Let's try to recompile, and then we will launch it. So what we have to do, we have to start the game, generate a dungeon, better if 2, generate 2 dungeons, and then see if the save happened. Now, obviously, if we evolve the dungeons, adding more properties, then I will have to change also the save file, right? Yep, but okay. I mean, for now, I think the dungeon we stay as they are, at least for a bit. And then we have to do the loading, right? Because it is only doing the saving. But the loading is not too bad, I think. It's not too bad. Unfortunately, I think we will not do the loading tonight because I think we are about 1 hour, roughly 1 hour away from... what the fuck? I duplicated this? Why I duplicated this? Huh? I don't know. This fine translation is not implemented. Okay. Why? It's never called. It's never called. Interesting. Interesting, my friends. Interesting. So did you see the Trump inauguration today, or no, because you hate him? What is this doing? Well, this file is empty, basically. Is it? I think it is, yeah. Because it's just a definition. Toopity doopity doopity boo. Toopity doopity doopity boo. Okay, it's done. It's done. Okay, so I think we can just run it and see what happens. I have no idea where the save game will be stored, but nonetheless, I can't. Don't have to look at him. I just have seen a sample. Okay. No, I listened to the wall. I listened to the wall thing. I listened to the wall speech. Because I wanted to see what he was saying, right? Yeah. I mean, he said pretty much the same things that he's saying all the time, but I think overall it was a good speech. It was not bad. $40 you lost a bit too much. How many points you had at the beginning, Yoko? Anyway, you... Oh, oh wow! Triple plane shift. Look at that. Triple plane shift is a lot. I think I never seen it. I never seen that. He gave you a lot of points. Okay. So what we want to do, we want to go in our dungeon entrance location, right? And then we want to generate a dungeon. Dungeon window. Right? We want to generate a dungeon. I mean, it's fine. 10 rooms, whatever, right? That's fine. Riddle on last door. Do we have that as a parameter or not? I don't remember it, but probably we do. Yeah, I think it's called riddle. Yeah, it's called riddle, yes, no. It's called riddle, yes, no. Riddle is it? Riddle, yes, no. Okay, so we create Boom. So the dungeon is created, right? With our return portal and everything. And I mean, the return portal, you know that I don't remember the return portal. How does the return portal work? I don't remember. But anyway. Ah, by name. Always by name. Always by name. Probably the return portal at the moment is just bringing you to the main city. Yeah, it is. It is. It is. Now that I remember, it is. So we will have to do some work on the return portal. But anyway, apart from the return portal, that who cares? We want to see if we actually saved a file, right? If we save now, we cannot really read the file because it's a binary and it's compressed and it's serialized and it's whatever. But the point is, do you think that we have created a file named generated dungeons somewhere? I don't know where. Probably under save games, right? Under save games. Generated dungeons. And it is! Is there, boys. It's 2.6 kilobytes. So it's very small. Right? But it's here. As you can see, there are all the loot property, int property, damage type, spawn time, right? So it seems to be good. Huh? Yeah, it seems to be good. Okay, nice. Now, if I generate another dungeon, and I call it dungeon 2, right? Now that file should be updated. It was 1132, right? 1132, 1134, and is slightly bigger. Yep. So if I delete a dungeon, so the save seems to be okay. Well, we don't know what's in the file, but dungeon delete dungeon 1. Okay. Okay, and it is back to the same. Yeah. So deleting and adding dungeons seems to work now. In the save game, right? In the save game. Okay, cool. Now what do we do? Now what do we do? Well. We should try to load, right? We should try to load. But how do we load? No, I mean, when do we load, right? When do we load? Well, we load. So we create another function, right? It is called load all dungeons, right? It's called load all dungeons. Okay, and load all dungeons. What it needs to do? Well, load all dungeon needs to do loading a game. Loading a game. Asynchronous loading. Well, in this case, I think it's fine if it's loading it synchronously, but Yeah, let's do it. Let's do a synchronous loading because anyway the server is starting, right? The server is starting, so I would say it's fine. So we have a U dungeon save game. U dungeon save game. Okay. The slot name will be our. Come on, why you have to be annoying? Will be our generated dungeons, right? Yup. And yeah. Okay, and here is the, you know, and here is the trick, because here is the trick. So so it is the trick, because now we need to get something like this out of my save game, right? Right? We only have one variable, bro. Dungeons, exactly. So we load that. Then we actually for our life out of this, right? So we for our life out of this. One dungeon, right? And then what? I don't know. I mean, we can print the name of the dungeon for now, but in theory we want to load the whole thing, right? So we want to load up. Well, we want to load up. We want to generate. We want to. I don't know what we want to do. We want. Basically, we need to call generate dungeon. We need to call generate dungeon with all those properties set. We have to call generate dungeon. We have to call generate dungeon. We have to call generate dungeon. We have to call generate. So I have to copy all this shit. Can we just put it in a? Can we put all this shit in a function and I just call the function, because it seems to be a bit crazy, you know, that I have to do this. Well, the problem is that data rooms will be completely different, because this is an admin command. Yeah, unfortunately. That's a bit annoying. So because the type of data that we are receiving is different, right? Is another data type. The problem is that if I duplicate all of this, then if I change one line, I have to remember to change it everywhere. It's very annoying. It's very annoying. Is there a better way to do it? Is there a better way? No, because I can copy all this, right, and put it in a method, but I don't want to duplicate it so much. It's kind of annoying to duplicate all of this. It's kind of annoying. I mean, or I create a function with all these parameters as variables, so it will be like the longest. Or I reuse maybe my function, my f function, but anyway, I will have to generate. I mean, this piece needs to be there, right? There is no way. What I can save this piece. And this piece. So if I make this a function, what is this dungeon class coming from? Oh my god, there is more here. There is more here. Because I will have to copy also this, you know. Seems to be a bit too much. Seems to be a bit too much. Oh, fuck. I mean, we can isolate few pieces, right? We can isolate this piece and maybe make it a static, because it is static, right? And call it like get danger. So I mean, still I will have to copy a lot of stuff, which is annoying. Which is very annoying. But okay, let's at least simplify a few pieces. So I can create on this dungeon start, right? We can create a static class, a static function. I want it public though. Why this thing is half public, half not, half protected? What the hell? This thing is a bit crazy. Okay, so this will be this will be get dungeon class. Actually, it's not get dungeon class. It's get dungeon start. Get dungeon start class. But anyway, no. And this one will return a U class pointer, right? And we want this one to be static. And we want this one to do this, right? So at least this part of the code we can just I mean, it's reduced to one line, right? Which I guess is nice, right? So this is reduced to one line. Don't even remember. Yeah, all this becomes one line, and so we can just copy paste it in the other right, in the other yeah. Now let's say that if this is null, though, we have to, unfortunately, I mean, if this is null, we have to bail out from here. So in reality, I need 2 more lines anyway. It's not really the best, but that's what it is. So if dungeon class is null, right, we will have to return. Okay, so we simplified a bit this. I mean, it's not really simplified, but slightly better. Now this part in theory is in common. It's kind of annoying. I could do... Or I make 2 functions. Or I make a function that is taking all these parameters, but it's very annoying. Or I use the struct, but if I use the struct, I anyway have to do this, passing this value to the struct, right? So it's pretty much the same. I don't know, I will just copy it for now. I mean, trying to split it is anyway generating like double the code anyway. So... yeah, it's kind of annoying though, but fine. Okay, for now I will just copy, guys. I don't know, I'm trying to make it more generic, but... So basically the load all dungeons we'll have to do here, we'll have to do all this shit. We'll have to do all of this. So if the dungeon class is not found, well, actually this can be done outside, right? I mean, that is basically impossible, right? Will never happen, but still, we need we need this. Now, open window we don't need. Creation window we need. So we have to do this, yes. I mean, I think we can assume that that dungeon is not there yet, right? Because we are loading we are loading the server, so we should assume that this actor dungeon is not there yet, right? So we assume that the dungeon is not created. So I can remove that. I can remove that. This stays the same. And actually, this block could become, you know, another function, because it's just generating a dungeon given the name, right? So maybe this piece we could take it and make it a function. Because you see that I'm not doing pretty much anything here, right? So I'm just getting the dungeon owner, I'm getting the dungeon by name, and then I'm spawning the dungeon. So this piece is a bit of, I mean, it's a bit a pity that is duplicated, right? So this could be called spawn dungeon actor, right? I think we can do that. If only I could type spawn dungeon actor, right? And it just need to take the name, right? So you need to take dungeon name, pretty much, right? And this spawn dungeon actor, we can put it inside spawn manager, I would say. So let me just check there is not another function that's called exactly the same. No. So spawn dungeon actor, and this one is taking an F string, which is the dungeon name, right? Dungeon name, okay. And this one returns a boolean if you manage to spawn it or not, right? Spawns a new dungeon actor used as a starting point for dungeon generation. Okay. Okay, now we implement this, and this has the same code that I cut from the other side, right? Fuck, dungeon class. Okay, we also need a uClass pointer dungeon class. Right? Okay. And this one should return a boolean if no, we should return just the actor. I think this one is returning the actor. No? Yeah, it's returning the actor. Okay. And I'm doing a lot of changes, but these changes are all good changes because they simplify a number of things, right? So Um, okay, so this line, right? So this line becomes all that block, and we can do the same in generate dungeon, right? Generate dungeon, this one. So basically, this block. Well, in theory. Okay, fine. No. I misclicked. Okay, so this becomes this, right? Yeah, exactly. The difference is that this should be spawn manager. Spawn manager. Fuck. Okay. Okay, so this is way more compact, right? So we try to, you know, we try to reduce the duplication. So I think it's good. I think it's good enough. So basically now it's two lines. I mean, we are duplicating only these few lines, and it's okay. See, you guys are gambling a lot. Gambling a lot. Raonik's trying to break the system, but I don't think you can, but good try. I think it's called duel. Duel, not attack. And you have to put a value. You can say duel, plane shift, and then a number of points. Like duel, plane shift, 100. Okay, so so this part is fine. Hey, if this fails, I think we have a problem, huh? Duel, D-U-E-L, not attack. Duel. Spawn dungeon actor. We don't give a message here if the dungeon is not. If we cannot spawn the dungeon. I think we should, huh? Should give a message if we cannot spawn the dungeon, actually. Ah, we give it at the end. No, we don't. I mean, if this fails, we just return. I mean, it sounds a bit... Sounds a bit brutal. Let me do at least this, right? Let me do at least we print something server side, because we want to know if something went wrong, right? So I need a U log, whatever. Now in theory is a U log spawn. I think we have a log spawn, if I remember right. Yeah, we have a log spawn. So this will be, well, this will be a bit more than a warning. I mean, this would be an error. We couldn't, right? So let's say spawn dungeon actor. Cannot spawn dungeon. dungeon. Actually, here we are spawning the dungeon start object, right? So in theory, this will never fail. Again, this will never fail. This will never fail. But you know, just because we want to catch every possible problem, we put this, right? In theory, will never happen. Will never happen. Will never happen. Okay, so in the loading, in the loading. So one dungeon. So we generate the dungeon location, and then we set. I mean, this limit in theory is the same, but okay, fine. Okay, this is all the same. Now, the only thing that we have in addition is the seed. Right, and this is specific. Yeah, exactly, like that. I told you it was dual. You didn't do it. Oh, we can only do get. Fuck. Okay. What do you mean? There is no data? No, data is dungeon. Oh, fuck. Data is one dungeon. Crap. Right. Okay. Why is doing this? Why is wrong? Because the names are different? Probably. Because I think that the names are exactly like these names. Because in our one dungeon we called the name. Yeah, exactly. We called everything. Yeah. Now this is a bit of a stupid translation, right, between one system and the other system. But the point is that one is coming from a save game, right, and it is not really a full object. So that's why. Okay, the only thing that we are missing the set current seed. The set current seed. I have to do it, boys. I have to do it. I have to do it this. No, I have to do it this way, right? So that we have it there. Okay. I think it's nearly done. We are finishing the time, but we are very close. I think we are like maximum 20, well, half an hour, maybe half an hour away, right, from finishing this. Or at least from having a first version which is actually loading. Because at this point, you know, we are calling the same function for the generation with the seed. So we are very close. The problem is that I'm finishing my time. Time is always a problem in this freaking life. Who invented time should be immediately fired from this universe. I don't know who invented time, but it was a very bad idea. Yeah, no, I have to go because I have something early tomorrow, so there's no way. Okay, let me just finish the reasoning a second. So here we are basically reading. Where did we spawn the dungeon, by the way? We spawn it kind of randomly or what? We spawn it. We spawn it. Well, actually we spawn it based on the name, but again, if the yeah, but we have to move it. We have to move it, so it's fine. It's fine. We read it. We spawn it originally in a place, but we have to move it. So we have to move it. So we will say actor. What? We will say actor dungeon, set actor location, and then we get our one dungeon, dungeon location. Oh my god, 60,000 points you just stole from Hula? Oh my god. And Hula accepted? You wanted to win it, huh? Who won? Raonix won, huh? Okay. So let's say that this is so what we will have to do, so we have set seed and location, we have set all the parameters, and then we just have to do this part, right? We just have to generate it. And if something goes wrong, I don't even know what to do, right? Because I cannot send it to the client. There is no client. It is the server, right? It is the server just starting up, right? So if success, then do that. If not, do that. And then I don't know. Something like this. In theory, this should compile and maybe it even runs, but I have finished my time. So even if this in theory may run, I will test it tomorrow, okay? And I will let you know if it worked, but I think that we still have few things to do. Even if it works, well, in theory, if it works, it's done. But I don't know, there will be some bugs, you know, something. We have to test few cases. But in theory, it may be done, which is insane. Incredible. Thank you, Marcellum, again, for the idea of using the random streams. That was very nice. Okay. Thank you, everyone, for watching, and see you next time, which means tomorrow, 9:30 p.m. European time. Meanwhile, if you want to click on follow on Twitch, subscribe on YouTube, that's always a good idea. And also remember that our game is released. You can go and download now and just play it for Windows, Linux, and Mac. It's not a great game, but anyway, try it. Maybe you will like it. Bye. See you, boys. It's the best game. I mean, it's improving. It will be the best game. It will be better than World of Warcraft and Skyrim together. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Bye.